I get to share some of the best news in the entire world with you. I went for my oncology appointment last week, and I will show you some of the video of me sitting there. I was angry. I did not want to be in that place. I was at the Lemmon-Holton Cancer Pavilion downtown Grand Rapids. I did not want to be there. I woke up in an awful, awful mood. I was so angry. I didn't want to have to be dealing with this anymore. I didn't want to be a cancer patient. I didn't want to sit there and have them tell me that I was going to lose all of my red hair and that I was going to go through chemo and radiation. So when I met with my surgeon for my post-op, I went to the hospital, all of those different things, but when I actually met with my surgeon for my post-op, my tumor was 11 centimeters. The average large tumor for breast cancer is, to my understanding, about 5. Anything over 5 centimeters, they automatically recommend radiation for you. Mine was 11. I had 2 different forms of cancer, all kind of jumbled and mixed together. I just kind of see it as like, throwing puzzle pieces all together, and it just kind of jumbled together. And somehow, by the grace of God, it is a complete miracle. My surgeon, Dr. App, she is just my best friend. She's absolutely amazing. She was able to get completely clear margins all the way around the tumor. So if you don't know what that means the tumor is here, and she was able to cut out all the way around, and when they tested all of that, the pathology came back and there was no signs of any tumor, any cancer, any tumor, anything in the entire margin area. Pretty much she told me that it was like my whole boob was the cancer, so they had to take the whole thing out. They tested my lymph nodes, and I did not have any cancer at all in the lymph nodes, which is just a huge, huge, huge praise. That was amazing, because that's the first place that they would go to. That it would travel to your lymph system. See, I can speak, drug brain. And then it goes all over your whole body. So the fact that I didn't have any in my lymph nodes was a huge praise. And so then I'm sitting at this appointment. I have my huge support team there. I have my husband, I have my daughter, I have my mom, and I have my best friend. And we're all sitting in this room. And throughout this whole thing, I've been able to keep humor, keep positivity. I was able to kind of smile through things and make jokes of things and make light of things and just kind of try to keep it, a little bit lighter. I couldn't, you guys, I couldn't even fake it. I couldn't try. I had just gotten out of the hospital. I was still pretty miserable with my rash. And then I had to go and find out what was next. So when I sat down with my oncology team, Dr. Reddy over at Lemmon-Holton, she was going through the paperwork, and suddenly she said, "You don't have to have any chemo." I don't have to have any chemo. I don't have to have any chemo. And I don't have to have any radiation. The doctors are stumped. They cannot figure out why. The radiologists went through it, and they said that I would have a less than 1% benefit of going through radiation. And so I'm not doing any of that. So after having an 11 centimeter tumor, 2 different forms of cancer, it is hormone, estrogen and progesterone positive. I don't have to have chemo. And I bawled. I cried all afternoon. I just kept crying, and I just kept crying, and I just kept crying. It was a complete and utter miracle. It was all of your prayers that you guys have sent up. It was my entire team of everybody that were telling me, "You've got this. You've got this." We cried together as a group. My doctor gave us the space in that room, and we just cried And my mom, she prayed. My mom doesn't pray out loud, you guys, very often. And she just prayed and thanked and just, I felt like I could breathe again. You guys, I looked over at the faces of those people in the room with me, and the relief on their faces was something I will absolutely never, ever, ever forget. I looked over at my daughter, who is not a big crier. She does not cry. That's, you know, I'm crying right now, but she doesn't cry very often, just like I don't. And you could see the relief on her face, because she was so concerned about me losing my red hair. She was so concerned about me getting so sick and going through the chemo. And you could see that she could get a deep breath in. And then I looked over at Heidi, and Heidi already knew what the numbers meant before the doctor even hardly got to them. And so she was like bouncing in her chair waiting for the doctor to explain all of it, because she has a lot of background in the medical field. And I looked at my mom, and as a mom, I knew what she was feeling in that moment. And I was so relieved to be able to look at her and say that I was going to be okay, that I had beat the cancer. And then I looked at my husband, having him watch what his mom had gone through, going through the rounds and the rounds of the chemo and the radiation, and knowing what that was going to feel like and be like for me. The relief on his face. Oh, what a miracle moment. I mean, it was just a miracle moment. God is good. God hears your prayers. He doesn't always answer them like we want him to, but he does answer them. So a funny thing that happened after we left Lemmon-Holton. So I've had this irrational fear of falling in a grate. Like, I don't walk on grates. We can walk downtown. We can walk anywhere. It doesn't matter what city I'm in. And I will not walk on a grate. I will literally walk anywhere I can to not have to walk over a grate. And when we left my oncology appointment, I walked across that street, and I walked right across that grate, and I was like, I just fucking beat cancer. I can walk over a grate. And as we were bawling our eyes out in happiness, and all of a sudden now we're like laughing and dying, my husband and my daughter were like, oh my gosh, we've never seen her walk over a grate for any reason. But I had just kicked cancer's ass. I had just won. I had just fought my battle as hard as I could, and I came out on the other side. And so walking over a grate, that was so little. That was just so little. And it's even in moments like that where you can just rejoice in all of those little things and those stupid little stories that we have all along the way. And then we just celebrated the rest of the day. I posted a video, and it was one of the most raw, honest emotion. I mean, I literally got in the car, and as soon as we got out of the parking garage, because it was too dark in the parking garage, as soon as we got out of the parking garage, I recorded that video. And that was it. That was it. That was me. That was my raw, honest emotion. And I was so thankful to be able to give people good news. The comments on there were amazing. And it's giving people the strength to go through not cancer. Not everybody's battling cancer, but everybody's battling something, you guys. Nothing is too small to feel like it's really big to you. And I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but sometimes we think our problems are so small, and we think that like nobody cares, and we're going through this, but oh my gosh, she's going through cancer, or she's going through this, or your problems matter, and you matter, and the things that make you sad, they matter. So never think that something is too small to tell somebody else about or to ask for a prayer request for, because we need to do this life together. We have to do this life together. From the moment that I started this journey, I knew that I wasn't alone. I never felt alone, not one time. Thank you for that. And I'm so excited to have the praise that I don't have to lose my hair. I get to stay a redhead. I get to celebrate my red hair all the time. And one of the coolest moments the other day, I was having a bad hair day. And it wasn't a bad hair day. It was just one of those days where I was like, wow, look at what my hair is doing today. And my daughter got to witness me in the bathroom giggle at myself because I was like, well, this is what it is. Because suddenly it wasn't a bad hair day. It was a moment of, I still get to keep my hair. Oh my gosh, I get to keep my hair. I get to do my hair straight. I get to do my hair curly. I can do whatever I want with my hair because I don't have to lose my hair. And so I get to celebrate and rejoice in those things, and it just changes your perspective on everything. So just remember that. Keep things in perspective. If you're having a bad hair day, just be happy that you have the hair and rock it. And then, if you have to have cancer, come up with a good superhero name and laugh at yourself because it helps, I promise.